Hello and welcome to Monday. How is everyone doing today? And hopefully you all had a fabulous weekend. And to all the mothers out there, you had a great Mother's Day. So welcome to everybody. My name is Mary Jane Tracy. I'm a psychic medium, spiritual love of life coach, and a budding astrologer. Good morning, Dana. Thank you for coming on in. So for those who are joining me, I am on Facebook Live on my Guru Mama page, and I am on Periscope. So I'm on the two, and live streaming you from StreamYard. So I'm doing a live stream from StreamYard, which I find absolutely fabulous right now. It's doing what I want it to do, and it's bringing everything together. So thank you. Hey, Barbie. Hey, Raylene. Thank you guys for coming in and joining me. Got a lot to cover. There's a lot going on. And I was going through my notes, and I love to go through my notes just to see. Got to move my coffee over here. Sometimes I think I need a bigger desk. Trying Periscope. Woo, you're all over. Trying some Periscope, trying all over. So, yeah, I've been, okay. First of all, yes, the energies are extreme. Okay. What does that all mean? And I'm going to get into it. I'm going to get into some of the information that came through, and started listening to about 3 or 4 different astrologers and stuff like that online. And, that's what I do, because I just reference myself because I am, I look fancy. Because I call myself a budding astrologer, and there's astrologers out there that have been doing it for 20 and 30 years plus. So they just, me, I'm just I kind of like a little newbie. I'm a little baby on the whole astrology front, even though I've been practicing it for a long time. But to actually really get in and start to utilize it. So first of all, what kept coming into me, or what came for me? So I did my reading this morning on Instagram, and I do my little daily reading on Instagram. And then before I came on, I thought, okay, just let me pull a card for myself. And the one card that keeps coming up, and he keeps showing up to me, is the King of Wands. So the King of Wands came in. I thought, okay, well, I know fiery passion, but I thought, they said, look into what the person is on the front, on who they drew to represent on this front. And his name is John Brown, and he was an American abolitionist and fiercely against the institution of slavery, whose actions sparked the American Civil War. And I found that interesting because I'm going back into my notes, and my notes are about, and when did I write this? I wrote this, funny, I didn't put a date on this. I wrote this probably at the 21st of April. I was writing stuff around the 21st of April. And around the 21st of April, going through a lot of the energies of looking at what was coming forward in the coming months, right? And what that all means. So I looked into it, and I got in here, because I was talking about 1855 to 1856. And the blocking, the EU, and I was also talking about how we want to have, we want to have something of stability, but Uranus in Taurus brings us instability, right? Instability of reality, and we are just beginning. Well, he was there, in and around 1855 to 1856. So we also had at that time, there was a new moon semi-squared Uranus too in Taurus. But this was all about how things, innovation, changing, how treaties and pacts were coming together, and what the treaties and the pacts were coming together. So anyways, on this, so he popped up, and there was act that was formed in 1854, and it was the Kansas-Nebraska Act. It was called the Bloody Act, and it allowed people in those territories to decide for themselves whether or not to allow slavery. Dissatisfied with the non-aggressive approach for the abolitionist movement, which was there were these men all talk, what we need is action, action. And that was, in Kansas, Brown aligned himself with the anti-slavery forces and led multiple attacks on pro-slavery supporters. And the pro-slavery supporters at that time were were like 1% of the population between Nebraska and Kansas. So they were making these attacks. Now, these men, the 1%ers, were actually quite wealthy at the time. And Brown was known as a religious zealot to terrorists and etc. And he was hung in 1859 for breaking in and getting ammunition from, what did he do? He broke in and he stole it from the Army. Anyways, from the Federal Arsenal. So he stole it from the U.S. Army Federal Arsenal, and he was caught. But the reason why I feel I want to talk about this is because this energy that's coming in, it's about taking action. And he took an action, and it was a spark. It was one of the sparks for the American Revolution to make changes. Now, during that time, it was the United States. It was, you had the North and the South of the United States. Now, with this card continually coming up for me, and I think for all of us, for the consciousness, it is getting us to get straight forward and getting us to see, where do you want to be? What line do you want to be on, right? And yeah, he was quite the zealot. He was fiery and fierce, but he was a man with a passion who felt that God was talking to him and said, this is what I need to do. The thing is, the beautiful part about this, and I was speaking about this yesterday, and I even put it on my wall the day before, is that sometimes your intuition, there's an alignment with you and you're being asked, and it just seems so crazy and wild. And I feel with Joseph here that it was a crazy, wild thing that he was standing up to. John, not Joseph, John Brown. It was a crazy, wild thing that he was standing up for. Everybody else was saying, no, you shouldn't be doing this. This isn't what you should be doing it. And he was known, some people thought he was a terrorist for what he was doing. But others considered him a martyr and a freedom fighter. But without his ideas and action, slavery might have festered as an American institution far longer than it actually did. So he was an icon in the anti-slavery movement in the United States. He was a igniter in it. And that's what I'm finding with a lot of this energy that's coming in, is that we're asked to be that igniter. We're asked to be that spark. Same with John. He was asked to be that spark. And when I went back into my notes, and good morning, Candace. When I went back into my notes, what I found is that we have to look at, where do we feel we belong? What side do we need to be on? And about, if we're feeling those restrictions, where are we feeling those restrictions in our life and in the collective and coming in, and even within the collective consciousness? Now, it comes in with this energy and with this King of Wands coming in, with this fury and passion and intuition, is to stand in our intuition, getting into that insight. Yeah, this is what I really want. Others are going to think of you as crazy. Others are going to call, they don't want to see the change. They don't want to have that change in their life. Very much with Chiron in Aries, and Chiron in Aries was in the early 70s. So Chiron in Aries brings in a lot of strangeness and a lot of craziness. But in the early 70s, that's where a lot of people were standing up for their rights. A lot of people were standing up to what they believe in and where they wanted to express themselves, either through their hair, through their clothing. I mean, the clothing was really crazy back then. Not that I do not want to go back to the 70s clothing, but the bell bottoms and the big ass platform shoes and things like that, and crazy hair, and all these different, they were starting to experiment with different colored hair and things along that line. But those that were expressing it, many in the community or in the consciousness didn't like that expression of self, didn't like that of somebody's coming out and expressing themselves, because they themselves were afraid to express themselves. They themselves were afraid to come into that expression. With John, to stand up against, him and his 5 sons moving to Kansas saying, hey, this is wrong. This is not the way we should be doing things. Standing up and actually going out and protesting. Now that act that was formed, it is funny how now with a lot of the energies, because are very similar, where the planetary energies are, that there are in the United States states that are making pacts, which are acts. And I've been talking about that before. And they're making these acts, and you're going to be finding that they're banding together for a reason. There's banding together, and they're banding together. And some of this has to do with the 1%ers, who in that 1%. So why I'm bringing this up, and how does that relate to me, Mary? What does that have to do? Like, I just want to live my life. I don't give a flying hoot about all those other people and what they're doing. I don't give a flying hoot about the 1%ers and all of that. It has a lot to do with us. The reason why it has a lot to do with this, because it's asking you, where do you stand in your life? Where are your beliefs in your life? And with Saturn, with retrograde, he's gone retrograde. It's a big deal. There's a direct sense of ending. And he went direct September 2019, at the end of September 2019. And this is where Saturn is coming in. And then, of course, we have Venus and Jupiter going retrograde this week. But Saturn coming in and then back into Capricorn in June. This is frustration. What choice do I have to find to really integrate into myself? This is about adulting. I have to make these choices to see the benefits. Choices that I may have to make that others aren't going to like. Others aren't going to like, maybe some of the choices. Maybe you are going to be the one who has to stand up for other people's rights. Maybe you are the activist that's going to come in and say, we need something more on mental health. We need to have to talk about more of these people who are confined or isolated within their homes right now, and women being beaten or children being beaten. Some are being killed. This is realistic. Where are you being called? And this is also where sometimes our intuition is telling us to do something, and we don't want to do it. We want to stand back. We don't want to hear that truth. And with the retrogrades is going to give, if you're not going to give to your intuition, if you're not going to listen to where you're divinely being directed and listen to it, and if you're sitting there and saying, I don't know what my intuition is, I don't know what I'm being told, with Saturn retrograde is going to give it to you more harshly. Because I believe, and what I see is everybody has an inkling of what they want to do, but they're too fucking scared to do it. They're too fucking scared to get off their ass and make an action or make a change in their life. Because it's so easy to stay in the same. So easy to stay in the same. And this is where, too, it's like we are all going to, everybody, somebody, nobody is higher than anybody else. We're all going to be experiencing this some way in our lives, in some form, all of us. And we're going to be seeing it being played out within the world around us because we are all connected and we are all one. And this is where we have to remember the frustrations come up on things and you want to make the choices. And you want to make the choices where you truly want to be. And this is where the energy, because we're coming into this portal, this energy of transformation and change, and it's a major portal that's coming in, and it's hard truth. With this energy, it's hard truth, not only within our own lives internally, but also within externally, within the world around us. So within, so without. So without, so within. It is looking at those reflections that are coming up and looking at those divine connections and holding on to in this world. What is holding you back? Things work out when you allow yourself. The thing is with Saturn, Saturn's about direction. Direction. What do you want to take responsibility for? What do you want to do? And same with Jupiter going retrograde here too. Jupiter is, he's not in exactly a fun place, but he knows that if you take the direction and take that leap, it shall happen. We're going to get it done. We're going to do it. The rewards are going to come in. And the thing is that going back to the King of Wands, not, for him, if he didn't make those changes, if he didn't stand up to what he believed in, it would have had things go longer. And the angelic message to this, may you always believe that your actions matter. May you always believe that your actions matter. And I thought that was so profound. So profound. Because this is about being a natural leader. This is about being in our creative, clear, direct, straightforward. How that is, that's Saturn, clear, direct, straightforward. He might be going retrograde, but he's going in there to say, what are those actions that you want to take? What is it? Because we're in this eye of the storm. And this is about us to rethink, rearrange your life and the way you want it to be. This is where, why am I denying myself a better life? Why am I denying myself to get healthy, to have a better relationship, to do the projects that I want to do or start the career I want to start? Why am I denying myself of that? And you will come up with a lot of excuses. We all do. It's too hard. I don't have enough money. Oh, maybe this is going to be the wrong decision. I'm going to upset my husband. I'm going to upset my kids. I'm going to upset my mother. I'm going to upset my father. I'm going to upset the neighbor. This is looking at and rearranging that of what you soul desire. This is the gifts and accepting them, accepting your gifts on the transformation and changes that are going to be happening and following it. The thing, when you look at currents are always changing in the ocean, like the warm goes into the cold and the cold goes into the warm. And sometimes they kind of shift and they change the weather patterns. This is that, of that external and things we will lose. But what are we going to gain? We come into our purity, our pure selves. And from that pure selves, we excel and come into that truth of ourselves. And with this, energy. We have Mars at the last days of Aquarius. Now, when Mars is at the last day, so we have Mars at around 28, 29 degrees, and we have Saturn at the other end of the spectrum, right? Saturn is the adult. Here I am. We're going to make long-term plans. Here is Mars saying, I want to do things my way. I want to get this and do that. It's that young rebellious teenager who wants to just do things and get things done. And so you have these extreme pulls that are happening where it's like, yeah, I want to make these radical changes. How can I implement them in long-term goals? I can still bring in my uniqueness. I can still bring in that of what I so desire. There is, if I'm not going to do that, I know there's going to be a frustration. But Venus squaring Neptune, and she's stationary. She is looking at Neptune, and Neptune is like wanting to numb you out, and not want us and feel lost instead of going into the mystical, magical advantage of this and saying, yeah, this really can do. We really can step into this and allow for the transformation and changes within my life. Whether that is within, I say a relationship, because Venus is going retrograde, and relationships not only with yourself, but that with around you. Venus is about always the love of humanity, the love of one another, bringing that forth. And this is where we have to look into it. We also have where Venus and the North Node are going to, they're going to be meeting up, and it's really, they're making energy. So is this really what I want? Is this really the relationship that I want to be in? Is this really where I want to put my energy into it? And it's the courage and boldness of this innovation to begin to take it. We have this beautiful energy that's going to be coming in. Also, that happens about twice a year. And that's the sun in Taurus and shining over to Pluto. And we're going to feel that more so in the coming days. And we're going to be feeling this. And it's a very meaningful transformation. It is where that energy comes in, because Pluto does want you to exalt. Remember, he is the phoenix. He does want you to rise. But he's also the one that says, if you don't want it, then fine, I'll still poke and prod you, and I'll hold you here. But you can take off any of these chains at any time and do what you need to do. It's only you who restrict yourselves within the changes and with the chains that are on you. And many times when we take them off, it feels like, whoa, like this is like scary shit, man. Like, do I really want to do this? And it could be something as starting to write your book. It could be something that you're starting a project and you're putting the plans together. It could be that you are starting a new plan for your body. It could be that you are deciding to give up something. Whether it's smoking, or maybe you found that you've been shopping too much since you're nice. Well, I got to hold back and I got to start putting money aside. Maybe, there's so many things that are coming in that are there. And it's not thinking too much, and to feel it. And you're going to feel it as energy, especially tonight. We're going to start feeling this, and it's going to be like a big rocket ship. And Mercury squaring Saturn is making those choices. And Mercury's, he's at the last degrees of Taurus before he goes into his home sign. He wants to make some choices. He wants to give you that information on it. Are you willing to listen? Are you willing to listen to your intuition? The intuition can come through a song, through a banner, through a book, through somebody talking to you, through some message. That's how it works. And this is, are you willing to listen to? Because this is like, do what you must do. Do what you must do. Otherwise, I feel like you're going to be in crazy town, in this crazy abstract kind of energy, and kind of like clown town, and you're not sure what the hell. So she says, depends if it's existing enough or not. What does that mean? What does that mean, if it's existing enough or not? So you're sitting there and you're saying, I don't know, because I don't know if it's existing enough. How do you know if it's existing enough if you don't do it? If you sit there and you're sort of like, I don't know, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. This energy that's coming in, it's like he may not have known exactly what it was, but he knew that his passion was there to make the changes. If we sit on the fence and say, depending if it's existing enough or not, some things aren't existing yet. Some things aren't there yet until you take the action, until you do what it is that you need to do. And this is bringing in that transformation and allowing us to go into that transformation. And we also have to look at when she goes retrograde, Venus, it's 40 days and 40 nights. And that's, bringing in, it's like, okay, do you want to be in a school that is do you want to be in an energy that is very drone? This is it. This is how we're doing. We're going to do it this way. There's no color. There's no fun. There's no laughing. Or do you want to come in to say, I want to learn, but I want to have some fun in it. And I want to bring this forward and enjoy. And bringing in those decisions. Because even with Jupiter going retrograde, you're going to be where there's no options and you got to deal with it. Exciting. Exciting. Sorry. It's not exciting to do. If it's not exciting to do, I really want to do it. Doesn't matter if it's exciting to do, if you're being called to do it, right? If you're being called to do it, it doesn't matter if it's exciting or not. See, if you're always looking for the big bang, the big bang, the big bang, the big bang, and it has to be all the sparks, and then there's no more sparks, then what is it? Right? Then what is it? So if it depends if it's exciting enough or not. The thing is it's following the intuition. It's following that. And it's going and it's doing it. Because if you're not, if you're waiting for the fireworks, okay, you can sit there and wait for the fireworks, but they may never show up. Probably won't show up. Something else is going to show up in there that you're not going to like too much. Or something else is going to force you to do it. So my scenario goes back. So say if you want to make it's not an exciting change to start a new diet. It's not exciting. It's kind of boring. It's kind of ugh. But the results in going ahead and doing that could bring in some excitement. If not doing it, that's where where things can come in that are going to cause other issues for you that will force you to make it in a not so much fun way. And this is where it's like looking at, where a lot of people are sitting on the fence. And, do I go this side or do I not go this side? Even with, we're going back to this, some people are thinking, well, what difference does it make if I go on Nebraska or Kansas side? I really don't care if there's slavery or not. I really don't care if there's this or that. I really don't care. It doesn't bother me. It's like whatever. It is what it is, whatever. Right? I just want to do my life. I just want to do what I used to do. Because that's what I have. That's just what I want to do. I just want to go back to the way it was. I don't care. That's when things start to come in and saying, oh, you don't care. Well, we're going to make it. We're going to make you care. We're going to make things happen. We're going to create a lot more chaos. We're going to create a lot more animosity in and around. So this is really this energy that's coming in is adulting. Is that adulting? And sometimes adulting isn't fun. We want to have that spontaneity and that how Mars, I want to be my individual uniqueness. Yes, you can still be that individual uniqueness and have all of that and still be adulting. You can still have the purple hair and the crazy outfit and still do what it is that you need to do. And that's where this energy and that's where the message comes in. Because again, it comes in and it says, may you always believe that your actions matter. And that you come into your truth with this. And I feel like for some, it's like, with this energy, it's like, I can feel frustration with people. I can feel overwhelmed with people, and the anger comes up with them, and a lot of anger and like, this is stupid. Like, what the fuck does this mean to me? I don't want to do it. But it's this energy that's coming in, creating this newness for us. We're going to see a lot of things played out. It's going to be a heightened week on information, getting information out, and the some of the clarity that's going to be coming in. And we're going to see some crazy shit coming forward this week in the news, information that's coming out. We're gonna be seeing that. But it's for us individually, it's not to be afraid to express yourself for who you are. And directly go in and start to adult in your life, to make choices. We got the moon quincunxing Venus this week before she retrogrades. We have that Chiron coming in about making choices and in Aries. And do you want to be afraid to express them, to express yourself? And this is where it's like, it's time, it's the big rocket ship. It's time to make these choices. This is really going to be pushing on us. Saturn's retrograde till September. Same with Jupiter. So they are very long retrogrades. Pluto's already retrograde. So they're long retrogrades. So all of this energy is coming in as a culmination, really, and it really strikes you at the beginning of the retrograde. And then it kind of sort of, continues on doing what it's doing. But when you get that strike, when you're getting it, are you utilizing it? Are you creating something with it? Are you seeing where the water has receded and where you can create something from that? So it's bringing in decisions in certain areas. There you go. There you go. This is really bringing in, we're coming into some more heavy waters again. But the heavy waters, I think, are bringing in some illumination where some of the things, and I know some of it's going to be revealed in a short time in what I'm doing in my life of making choices that are, they're like, I don't want to make them. They're not fun. They're not exciting, but there's something, they're decisions that are going to give long-term effect for me. And they're things that are going to bring in other, maybe streams of income. I'm not sure. but how it's going to affect myself and my family. And some of it makes me very antsy and overwhelmed and bitchy with it. And I think that's part of the energy that's coming in with this, especially after that full moon in Sagittarius or in Scorpio, getting us to really reevaluate ourselves and where we want and what it is that we want to see in our lives. So sending you guys out so much love today, because it is a day of bringing in some real beautiful energy that can be really phenomenal for us all. So I love that. And I love that. I'll talk more about the this Pluto and Sun coming in, because that is really bringing in some positivity there. But we really have to take hold of things and come into that truth of who we are and allow it to shine. So to you all, may the Lord and the Lady watch over and bless you in all that you do and all that you say and all that you be. Blessed be everybody, and thank you for joining me. And take a look at all my little ticker tape of all the things that are going on, the medium psychic development, the shamanic class that is coming in, and also that the pay scale of for all my readings. So to book a reading. So get a hold of me if you want to book a reading. Information is on my Periscope, on my bio, so you can book a reading and get a hold of me by email, or just you can DM me. That's direct message. Okay? Bye-bye, everybody. Blessings.